Hi, folks. This is Mountainman coming to you from parts unknown. Ha ha ha! How's everybody doing tonight? Man, I've been bopping around getting all kinds of stuff. I bet you got 80 or 90 things I got to show you all tonight, and I'm gonna try to bore all the way through them and not get distracted. That's what I'm gonna do. And I tell you, one of the things I did, I got on Truth Social, and ever since, ever since they had the Biden gang get on Truth Social, you come across the craziest stuff. And I get in a little back and forth with some of these. I just call them freaks and weirdos. I mean, I'll tell them, you're a weirdo, and they can't handle it. They can't, and they can't make memes. It's funny. It does take up my time when I get involved in these screwballs, but I will go over some of that with you all, along with many of the other things that are going on right now. On my thumbnail, I've got this picture, not wanted, bum off the street. And I could have talked about that last night, that and a lot of other things, a great many other things. But, got a little distracted, so we'll try not to do that. But I do enjoy good conversations, folks. We'll keep focused, but there's so much going on from so many different angles, and they're looking foolish. And that's great. Let them look foolish. Hi, Sherry. How you doing? Andrew, how you doing? Alan. Hey, Nikki. How are you? Melinda. Nice to see you all. Starfire. Nice to see you. Yeah. Hit the thumbs up while you're coming on in. We'll wait for you. Leave the light on the porch for you. Hi, Alicia. How you doing? So, what was one of the things somebody I should have took a screenshot, but I don't want to get personal back and forth with some of these people that you find on Truth Social now that are part of the Biden gang. But one of them had a lady's name. I'll go ahead and say it. Probably more than one on there, so I won't pick them out. Be picking on any single person. But the name was Ruth. Okay, a variant to that, and had all these memes like Trump sitting underneath the Christmas tree pulling a thing out of a box that said something like kicked off the ballot, and Trump is supposed to be like a little kid crying, and everybody around the Christmas tree is giving the finger and laughing at him. Never mind that we all know that's going to get kicked out. It's already kicked out. It's already been stayed. It's ridiculous. But so I go, this person was picking on somebody that I follow. And I said, well, let me check them out. So I went over there, and you see all these goofball memes. But then I looked at this delicate flowers picture, and I said, wait a minute. Something wrong. Maybe Babe Ruth, but not. But anyway, so what did I do? I sent a picture that Devin Nunes put up today. I cropped it out and sent it. And I wrote above it, you ain't fooling nobody, Ruth. And it's this one here. If you belong in this bathroom, follow my daughter or my wife into this bathroom, you're going to need this bathroom. So few minutes went by, and I get this response, I can see that really bothers you. And I thought, okay, how am I going to respond to that? And I said, well, not as much as, let me find it. Not as much as this bothers some of the clowns out there. Michigan Supreme Court just ruled Trump stays on the ballot. Next stop is Oregon 2024. I'm sure I'll hear something from him before this is all over with. Hi, Rick. How you doing? Diane, how you doing? Hi, Kim. Alicia's here. We got everybody coming in. That's great. And I know everybody's hitting the thumbs up or the thumbs down if you don't like what's going on. So anyway, so then they get on you like flies, You get these two or three other screwballs putting up crazy memes. Trump in a tutu with rainbow leggings on. Just stupid nonsense like that. I said, well, your memes must be your dreams. And put laughy faces. But it is so obvious that they're losing the initiative. They're crumbling. And, they need to get over it, really. And I think in the long run, as we look back on this, as far as judgment, should we do this slowly or have a collision? And these people, when you combine stupidity with high-level propaganda and immorality, and then mix in a certain percentage have mental illness, that's a touchy bunch there. You got to watch it, and they've been growing. So even Elon Musk, he put up this oldie but a goodie right here. I should put this on there, but I don't want to deal with those people too much. Elon Musk put up the "I'm not brainwashed" meme. I told one of them, take your fourth BOOS and then TER and go to sleep. Just go get your fourth one or fifth or sixth or whatever you're on. Go back to sleep. So maybe I'll if they keep on pestering me, I got a quiver full of memes that are just. What did one of them say to me? He said, he put up the Mark Twain quote. Don't argue with stupid people because they're more experienced. They'll beat you by experience or something like that. And I messaged him back. I said, I'm not arguing with you. I'm mocking you. They can't handle it. They can't handle being mocked. Hi, MS. How you doing? MS Motorsports. Ingrid. Haha. So, Kate said, okay, yeah, some you-know-what soup. Yeah, we're winning bigly. Melinda. Georgia, nice to see you. Kate, nice to see you. Donna, how you doing? So we got everybody. I hope you all are in a good mood and ready for the new year. Maybe we're going to do, me and Nikki might work on some kind of recap. First part of the year, we'll take a look back at 2023. Look at that garbage we put up with, and compare maybe to what we were given hints at what was going to happen. Hi, Cindy, how you doing? So anyway, let me see. Here's a good one. How many people got it? I got all these videos while I'm playing. Let me. I showed this Michigan one, but I tell you, I didn't get a chance to put this one up the other day because I was not doing a picture show, and here we go, telling you about Patricia Dixon. I put some nice stuff, and every now and then she'll have an hour chat with people talking about stuff. U.S. District Judge Irene C. Berger has dismissed a lawsuit aiming to keep Trump off the West Virginia ballot. Judge Berger deemed the lawsuit to be frivolous and without merit because it was filed by a Texas resident and writing candidate John Anthony Castro. Castro claimed without any conviction or charge that Trump incited an insurrection and should be quickly disqualified based on blah, blah, blah of the Constitution. In a memorandum opinion last night, Judge Berger, now this has been about 3 nights ago maybe, in a memorandum opinion just before Christmas, Judge Berger ordered the case be dismissed without prejudice, meaning Castro could possibly refile it during candidate filing period. But we know that this Media Matters bunch is behind this stuff. They're financing it. And this is a picture of Judge Berger right here. And they'll probably take her ruling, whatever. They'll refile, and then they'll take her ruling, and they'll appeal to the Supreme Court in West Virginia, blah, blah, blah. But, hey, it's news in West by God. And I said that's the proper way to pronounce that state. And people are going to be raising their eyebrows and saying, what are they trying to do here? So where's that map I had? I had a map that shows, here we go. Here's where all the screwballs are trying to get Trump off the ballot. You figure if Joe won by 81, if he had 81 million votes, why are they going through this? What's the problem? It's a slam dunk, right? But here's the states where they're trying that stuff. If you want to get a screenshot of that, you got, there's West by God, Virginia, and we can scratch Michigan off unless they go to the Supreme Court. How you doing, Ken? How you doing, Rick? Araceli, how you doing? Ha ha ha. Nice to see everybody. I hope if I miss anybody, I apologize. I do the best I can. So anyway, we can scratch a bunch of those off, but they were kind enough on this map to show us the actual totals of the states if they were successful. And I got to mute my mic and have me a sip of coffee. Hold on just a second. Got to wet my whistle. But anyway, we know 270 to win, or most of us know 270 to win. So if they get everything they want, it's 306. If they get Trump off the ballot, there'd be no way he can win. And that's why you got all these blue hairs with no nose rings and whatever else they staple to themselves or cut off themselves. But we can see now we know Colorado's going to get thrown out. Michigan's already out. And Oregon, that one meme said Oregon is next. That just reinforces my notion that we're making these judges in these crazy states step up and show themselves. And we're gonna be able to discern who is sitting in a judgeship that has no business sitting there. That's right, Melinda. I showed that meme about the totals. I mean, it just doesn't work out. I'm glad you're doing well, Araceli. I hope Santa brought you everything you wanted. And then some. Ha 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 ha. So I'm just checking through here, see what's going on. Oh, yeah. Potatoes, he's down in the Virgin Islands now, isn't he, Mary? I think I got a report on that. Trudeau. Well, I got to get these bright colored pictures down because it's hard to read the print. Trudeau had to really? Oh, he had to hide that little petition to get rid of him, huh? Because it was higher than his vote totals in the past 2 elections. Oh, it's getting obvious. And well, let me tell you what Trump put up. No comment. He just posted this. And a lot of people may have been saying, Mountainman was saying he never said the word revenge. Revenge is a dirty word. It's hostile. And talking about retribution, but now we got Donald Trump puts this up, and the first word you see is revenge. But around it you see peace, freedom, success, restoration, greatness, security, right down dictatorship. Corruption. They put all that stuff in. But the big word you see is revenge and dictatorship, followed up just by dictator. Why would Trump put that up there? I'll tell you why. Daily Mail. Daily Mail put it up, not DJT. We got to see what this relationship is with Media Matters, because they're the ones, Media Matters is the ones that are using those terms. And the Daily Mail, you wouldn't think that they would put up something about Donald Trump that would have that kind of thing. So I don't know. Are we going to find out who our friends are? Are some people acting like friends? Yeah, so we got 8,000 more. I saw one video that was live that they were sending some National Guard down there to the border. I don't know what I'm not going to get people all jumping up and down over that, but hey, people got to see what they're going to do. We got to show them, and people got to be starting to be afraid. These people are sitting around judgmental and comfortable. They have to realize that these policies are going to threaten their income, their family safety, okay, the roof over their heads, and hey, there's only one way to show them. But anyway, here's a nice little meme that somebody put up. Trump in Colorado. I didn't have time. I wouldn't have been able to do my video if I kept responding to all the new screwballs on Truth and then Social. Hi, Alan. How you doing? That's right, Nikki. I do work hard. Give me my thumbs up or thumbs down. Hey, I'm a big boy. I can take it if you don't like the video. Just give me a thumbs down. Here's another one I put up that they couldn't stand. We need to let this one get around. Because, like I said, a lot of them aren't over bright, as my grandmother used to say. They're not over bright. Holy cow. I dropped something. So, don't let Trump cheat. In 2024, demand voter ID. So you might want to get a copy of that. And I'll be trying to put up a bunch of memes on Truth Social. I've got 380 some followers. I don't have a lot of followers, but hey, maybe I'll get built up, and you can scroll down. If it's something you haven't seen, just go ahead and steal it. Like I said, a meme's not worth anything if it's not worth stealing. Ha ha ha. So, many of you have been with me for a while. Remember me talking about that Harvard professor. I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, I can. Lawrence Tribe. He's been around forever. He's an old fossil. He was calling for Trump's arrest. He gives interviews on MSNBC. He's part of the communist establishment in these universities. Exactly the type of person Trump is talking about when he talks about taking these endowments and having these colleges pay a price. And I can remember years ago, this person here, Ed Meese. Ed Meese was Attorney General for Ronald Reagan. And there was a hubbub back in the 1980s where students at universities, Harvard in particular, I'm pretty sure, were wearing on campus, Ed Meese is a pig. And back then, standards were higher. You didn't behave that way. And people were saying, hey, well, how are you letting this on your campus? And it's a free speech issue. But anyway, Ed Meese is back in the picture. Former Attorney General Edwin Meese and two constitutional scholars. Remember when Obama was saying he was a constitutional scholar? What a joke. What constitution did you know of? Kenya? Indonesia? Well, you certainly don't know the U.S. Constitution. But anyway, claimed that the appointment that of Counsel Jack Smith was unconstitutional because he's holding a position that was never created by Congress. If you'll remember, when Jeff Sessions resigned, Whitaker took his place, and Whitaker had already been through the confirmation process with the Senate. Not only has the position not been created like is prescribed, but the person occupying the position needs to have Senate confirmation. And it is such a simple and obvious error, air quotes, error. But, leave it to somebody with experience and gravitas like Ed Meese to spot it. But I think a lot of people knew that beforehand. But like Rod Rosenstein, he filled in at the FBI. He had to be approved by the Senate for previous positions. They can serve as acting directors or acting officers in other areas. But this Jack Smith, that's not even his real name. We found that out. I put on the thumbnail, bum off the street. I mean, he's got no business, no credentials, no nothing. So Trump put up here, Biden's flunky, deranged Jack Smith should go to HE double hockey sticks. That's the second time he said that. He's helping his corrupt and incompetent president to destroy America through weaponization and election interference. Smith is a crooked prosecutor who shouldn't even be allowed to be in the position he's in. It's prosecutorial misconduct. So then he goes into what I just discussed about Ed Meese, the great Ed Meese, who all those liberal bums let students, bonehead, egg-headed teenagers and morons at Harvard that we're ended up footing the bill were rollerblading or whatever with shirts on that said Ed Meese is a pig. And they're supposed to be becoming attorneys. They're supposed to be swearing to be officers of the court. They're supposed to be swearing to uphold the Constitution. And Ed Meese didn't do anything wrong. So they've been doing their undermining and coordinated attacks on our constitutional structure for decades and decades. So anyway, what we don't need to keep looking at is crackhead forehead. But anyway, here I put this up on. I might have put this up. God agrees to spare DC from destruction if he finds just 10 staffers without a gay sex tape. Ha ha ha. Hi, Lone Wolf. How you doing? Yeah, it could be Jeff Sessions. 8 letters, but as has been pointed out, the last letter, there's something kind of funny about it. The dash at the bottom. Honey pointed that out. Hi, Wanda. Kicking Bird, how you doing? Yeah, we don't get that kind of vacation time. Nowhere near it. Never have. Hi, Ian, how you doing? So, anywho, here we got, they're still going on with this ruse here. And keep an eye on Jim Acosta. He's got that guy on the right is, trying to stick up for Trump, but he can't do it but so much. Or it's real simple. They won't even have him on CNN if he gives too good of a performance. And the lady on the left, she's whatever. But listen to how they're still going to continue to beat this Adolf thing to death. Okay, I'll go ahead and play it for you. I've had it in my quiver for a couple of days, but let me cut my mic off and play it for you.
Defending his remarks that sound a lot like language that was once used by Adolf Hitler. Let's listen to what Trump had to say about that.
First of all, I know nothing about Hitler. I'm not a student of Hitler. I never read his works. They say that he said something about blood. He didn't say it the way I said it either, by the way. It's a very different kind of a statement. What I'm saying when I talk about people coming into our country is they are destroying our country.
Yeah, Scott, he says he doesn't know anything about Hitler, but at the same time, he's doubling down on this rhetoric.
I actually don't think there's a lot new here. And I really think the Democrats who are screaming about him being the next Hitler really ought to take a good hard look at what's going on in their own base right now, because there's a whole bunch of anti-Semitism on the left-wing progressive flank, and Joe Biden is competing for their votes. And if they're worried about Adolf Hitler, maybe they ought to talk to some of their own supporters about the anti-Semitism that's running rampant on our college campuses and across cities all over this country.
Yeah, and Scott, I mean, once Trump is aware of the fact that he's echoing Hitler, I mean, should he stop echoing Hitler?
So we'll have this conversation one more time, as we've been having it for the for the last 8 years. Donald Trump says may or may not be true. I think it's not true in this case. But once he realizes that he is driven the left or the media crazy with some kind of language.
You don't think he's sending signals to white supremacists? He doubles
down on it. He triples down on it. So
I know, but Scott, you don't think he's sending signals to white supremacists? I mean, it's the holidays. I don't want to get into a shouting match, but I have to cut you off a little bit. Don't you think he is sending signals to white nationalists and white supremacists when he says poisoning the blood of our country? I mean,
no.
If we were standing next to the bowl of eggnog, I would have to stop you here and say no. That sounds like what he's doing.
We'd also put more rum in the eggnog, probably.
Here's what I believe. I think when Donald Trump does things like this, ultimately it's fairly counterproductive when the full situation unfurls and you see the way the language around it is being described. So, yes, do I think it's counterproductive? Would I go around making these quotes, especially after learning about the historical context of it? Of course not. Do I think that was his motivation in the first place? No. And do I think Republicans are hot to trot about illegal immigration? Yes. And has it been the motivating issue of his entire political rise? Yes. And so I feel like this is being blown out of proportion. But is it counterproductive to him? Of course it is.
I don't know that it's being blown out of proportion, just real quickly. But what I will say is, we know something now that we did not in 2016, and that is when he says these things, we should believe him, because he did pass a Muslim ban, because he is saying that he's going to do a mass deportation, because he did, he has had a very precarious relationship with the far right and the alt-right and white nationalists. So again, I think, the point is, let's not overreact. Let's take him at his word.
Not overreact, but take him at his word. Well, Adolf gave speeches that lasted for hours that you could transcribe. He wrote the book Mein Kampf, which is a huge book full of work. You can take words and just pump them in there. And the fact, hey, this is just the beginning. They're going to keep up with this, especially if Trump mentions it again. Now, I want to know what they're going to try to drum up with the rot in HE double hockey sticks, right? Debbie Dingell was on CNN and she was going crazy. Let me see what I got here about Debbie Dingell. Trump mentioned her after her interview. And remember, Debbie Dingell is one of the people who got in their House seat, and there's at least one in the Senate, whose husbands passed away. They didn't get elected, they got installed. And I thought to myself, maybe that's what they meant when they said, watch the wives. And she gives this impassioned interview where she takes it personally. When Trump said Jack Smith and his bunch could rot, let me see if I can find that. Well, anyway, I'll find it and read it to you if I come across it. He said they could Merry Christmas, but that bunch that's after him can rot in HE double hockey sticks. Why would she get upset over it? He never mentioned her name, what she'd been doing behind the scenes. And anyway, you'll hear how she automatically turns herself into a victim, Debbie Dingleberry. And like I said, she wouldn't be where she was if her husband had corked off. And Trump responded to this video that I'm going to play right now.
Dingell, I want to ask you about some because of threats to those Colorado judges who ruled that Donald Trump cannot be on the ballot. I'd like to get your thoughts because I know in your state, several of your state leadership has faced threats, and you yourself, I think, have mentioned that you have faced threats as a public servant. Have you?
So now here we go. Here we go to victimizing. We got Trump supposedly doing dog whistles. You heard Acosta. You know, anybody who says a peep about these unprecedented millions coming across the border from parts unknown, not from my parts unknown, but that they have a supremacist bent to them. Here you have the Colorado Supreme Court is being threatened. They're not being threatened; they're being mocked, and they're being called out by their own members of the judiciary. But this is victimization garbage. But I'll let her dig her own hole.
Notice that things are getting worse, or have things changed?
I'm going to tell you that I think it was one of the most pathetic Christmas greetings I've heard when a former president of the United States who wants to return tells people on Christmas Day that they can rot in hell. He is contributing to the divisiveness and division in this country. Yes, I have had people, and after he went after me, quite frankly, there were men outside of my house with assault weapons, and I have had threats. But it is hate and division are creeping into our communities far too easily. Violence is becoming normalized. Every last one of us.
Did you have a chat with Jussie Smollett? Ringing that bell and making accusations that you had these people coming to your house. No, let me tell you, everybody in the world, if there's a scrap of evidence about it, would be reporting on it. But anyway, Jussie Smollett's tactics.
Has to stand up. We can disagree civilly. We need to respect every human being with dignity. We need to treat them like everybody's a human being and bring that civility back, because our democracy is in trouble if we start to let the kind of anger, violence, and division that's creeping in be normalized more. It's not right.
Be tolerant, you bigots. You know, if you have people coming over here breaking the law, whoops. If you have people coming over here breaking the law and coming to the country or going into ladies' rooms, we have to give people their dignity, you know, and we're just supposed to sit around and eat it, right? Well, here's a nice little video I got off of Citizens Free Press. And this is a mouth-breathing liberal caught in the wild on video, throwing a coin into to make a wish in the fountain. So anyway, I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Donald Trump will be president again. What the hell?
Yeah, I like that look on her face at the end. Her mouth hanging open.
Okay.
The genie in the well has granted your wish. Donald Trump will be president again.
What the hell?
Oh, my mic wouldn't pull up. That's okay. I got it. But anyway, that was a funny little thing. Let's see. When Trump responded to Debbie Dingell, he pointed out, if I can find it, the stuff is so small in here, that when her husband died, he gave her, he gave Dingell a state funeral, I believe. Let me just go through some of Trump's messages to the people. And, you know, the liberals can poo-poo it and they can make fun of it. But the bottom line is he's a former president. He's going to be the next president. And what he says carries weight. And it's the first time in history we've had somebody communicate with the American people as much as Donald Trump has over the years. So, yeah, we're going to go over some of his communications. He says, with what was going on, what they're charging him with, I wasn't campaigning. The election was over. I was doing my duty as president to expose and further investigate a rigged and stolen election. It's my obligation to do so. The proof found is voluminous and irrefutable. Therefore, among other reasons, of course, I'm entitled to immunity, and additionally, I did nothing wrong. Stop the witch hunt now. Here we go from DJT. Christmas message that offended Debbie Dingell so much. Merry Christmas to all, including crooked Joe Biden's only hope, deranged Jack Smith. I got a notification on my phone about another news story. Jack Smith is petitioning the court to make Trump stop his political attacks. Are you out of your mind? But anyway, the out-of-control lunatic who just hired outside attorneys fresh from the capital letters swamp, unprecedented, to help him with his poorly executed witch hunt against Trump and MAGA. Included also are world leaders, good and bad, but none of which are as evil as this, quote, sick as the thugs who we have inside our country, who with their open borders, inflation, Afghan surrender, Green New scam, high taxes, no energy independence, woke military, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Iran, all electric car lunacy, and so much more are looking to destroy our once great USA. May they all rot in HE double hockey sticks. Again, Merry Christmas. Now that's got Debbie Dingell all upset. Debbie Dingell, I'm very upset. But right there, it's put in a nutshell for you and more. Nobody wants open borders. Nobody wants inflation. The Afghan surrender was horrible. The Green New scam is just as scam. It's cost us billions. High taxes, no energy independence. On, here we go, woke military, blah, blah, blah. On down the line. Nobody wants that. Time to choose. What are you going to choose? This kind of illness and mental illness being accepted as normal? I guess a lot of you have seen this. Elon Musk again. DC Lidstone put this up. Elon Musk put it out. Do you see what I see? He put up this X, and he snuck in a 17 up there in the corner. Ha, 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 ha. But Elon Musk at the bottom, he said, is a prime with 1,800 digits. 1,800 digits. But anyway, there you go. In case you think I'm fibbing. 17. But anyway, so I'll come across that thing that Trump put up. Let me see if this is it. Oh, this is what Trump put up about what the media's trying now. They're trying, I cut off the top where it showed Trump, but he put this up, where their media matters mockingbird crap. Does chaos follow Trump? No. A pack of jackals follow Trump and make up chaos. Okay, does chaos follow him? Include the Trump-Russia matter, which features media commentators wildly speculating about collusion, slanderous Democratic opposition research, commentators calling Trump an agent of Russia, and a special counsel of inquiry ending with the investigator admitting that he could not establish what he was investigating ever happened. That's Mueller, by the way. Who's to blame for that chaos? Trump or the Democrats and the media who attacked him? What about the other daily hysterias that seem to compromise media coverage of Trump? Were those his doing or the work of the media? You get the point. The chaos is drummed up and created by the media. And, you know, we've been saying that all the time. Here you go. Here's a good example of how they treat Biden. How they treat Biden. Biden-Harris headquarters. Gas prices are down, stocks are hitting an all-time highs, and consumer confidence is rebounding. So they put up the Post, the Times, NBC News, and Reuters. Dow Jones hits an all-time high. Gas prices are falling fast, helping tame inflation. Consumer confidence is high. Solid job growth. Wait till it pops. Wait till it pops. How you doing, KS Cleaning? Nice to see you. Gary, how you doing? Nice to see you. The Cat, how you doing? Nikki Haley, yeah, Nikki Haley. They started that. Who started that garbage that Trump was going to pick her as a VP? And he's calling her bird brain? No, I don't think he's going to pick her as a VP. It's all a joke. And let me see if I can find that one that about Debbie Dingell. Here you go. This is one I put up as a response to one of those that started on me up on Truth Social. I like your gay pride shirt. Somebody wearing an FBI shirt. We're going to clean it all out. Here's a good one. I like this one. Here we go. They can't stand it. If you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Yeah, New Year's, they say that, of course, they're planning something somewhere. Hi, Phil. How you doing? Yeah, I wouldn't go near Times Square, but people are going to go, you know, and that's what's making it a target. Well, I know some of you have seen this video about, if I come across that thing from Trump, I'll put it up, but where, let me see if this is where Catherine Herridge is talking about a Black Swan event. Now, it's one or the other. She's either talking in this one about Hunter Biden, and we were told to watch the pen. And she used to put her stuff up, highlighted things with a highlighter pen. And everybody's saying, oh, Catherine Herridge, that's what we're supposed to watch. But don't forget, she put up that it should be a much lauded report that Gitmo had expanded so much and that the courtrooms are brand new and set up for TV broadcasts, okay? But anyway, let me see if this is where she's talking about either Hunter or Black Swan event, because I got some things to say about that.
Well, mine's a little dark. I just feel a lot of concern that 2024 may be the year of a Black Swan event. This is a national security event with high impact that's very hard to predict. There are a number of concerns that I have that factor into that. Not only this sort of enduring heightened threat level that we're facing, the wars in Israel, also Ukraine. And we're so divided in this country in ways that we haven't seen before. And I think that just creates fertile ground for our adversaries like North Korea, China, and Iran. And that's what concerns me most.
Well, she said North Korea, China, Iran. That's true. And the divisions in our country, that's all true. We got to keep an eye on that. But we don't know where a Black Swan so-called event is going to come from. But let me see if I can pull this article up about, here we go. Something to keep an eye on that nobody's talking about, but they're talking about it over in the Eastern Bloc. There you see the Bering Sea. And remember when Sarah Palin said she could see Russia from her house? You see that line there that says Bering Sea, United States? What's that in the upper left-hand corner? Russia. The U.S. is encroaching on the continental shelf in the Arctic and Bering Sea. The State Department announced in a unilateral expansion of the U.S. border, supposedly extending the country's land territory underwater. However, this continental shelf is claimed by Canada and Russia. These Arctic territories cover an area of 1 million square meters. Let's see, then they got a kilometer symbol there, which is twice the size of California, are located near the Russian and Canadian borders and contain about a quarter of the world's oil and natural gas reserves, writes Bloomberg. If you'll remember, in one broadcast, I was discussing how Russia had set a couple of naval vessels in the Bering Sea up and around Alaska, along with a submarine or multiple submarines. So Catherine Herridge didn't mention Russia as far as a Black Swan event, but Bloomberg goes on, or the reporter goes on, the United States also claims shelf rights in other part of the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic. In Washington, they say that this does not create territorial disputes with the Russian Federation. However, Moscow is ready to defend its interests. First Deputy Chairman of the Federation Council Committee on International Affairs, Vladimir Dziabrov, said, "You never know what they claim. We still need to develop these regions, and without the presence of icebreakers, which America practically does not have, there is not much to do in the Arctic regions. Russia has exactly the same rights of the Americans, if not more." I'm just pointing it out as a potential hotspot for a Black Swan event. Because there were reports also about a month ago, I don't know how much credibility there is, that Putin or his subordinates were making noises that Alaska, by all rights, should still be Russia's, so You just keep an eye on stuff like that. Hi, single songwriter. Hi, Judy. Nice to see you. Let me get these off screen so I can read what people are saying here. Oh yeah, they a hole to the center of the earth, single songwriter, or something like that. There's exploration going on up there. Camperman, he's on a vacation. All right. Let's see. Anyway, and with all that stuff going on, all this stuff going on around the world, we got this. The 2024 U.S. military will be the smallest since before World War II. This have decreased by 64,000 people over the past 3 years. And in 2024, the total number will be less than in the 40s. It was less only in 1940, before World War II. The reason is that fewer and fewer people are joining the Army. Who the heck would want to join with the garbage that they've been putting out? We can't recount too much in detail here, but you know, things that happen to your shoulder, along with the rights of these people we talk about sometimes. I guess you all heard about a service member. Well, there were 3 of them that got wounded over in the Middle East. One of them critically, and they said an attack was at an undisclosed location. I want to put this up because I want to let people know that we are keeping an eye on that situation. That could be another Swan event. U.S. attempts to pass a law allowing confiscation of frozen assets at the central bank of the Russian Federation that will undermine Washington's influence in the world and demonstrate to other countries it is better to store funds in the independent banking centers and in currencies other than the dollar and the euro, writes Bloomberg. I'm just showing you that there's stresses coming out. These territorial disputes, you got the attacks in the Middle East. Russia is tied in tight with Iran. You've got the Biden administration talking about taking these Russian assets and confiscating them and distributing them through the European Union's central banks. Such a move would raise geopolitical questions. One effect would actually be to signal to China and other countries that have strained relations with the U.S. that their central bank assets would be next to be confiscated if, say, China attacked Taiwan. So they would redouble their efforts to keep assets in neutral banking centers and currencies other than the dollar and the euro. In the long term, this could undermine U.S. influence. Trump said that if the U.S. loses its standing as a benchmark currency in the world, it would be the greatest defeat ever for this country. So you see the Biden administration making these hostile acts to confiscate and actually distribute Russian currency using the other central banks. Oh, now this stuff I'm pulling up is not going, I don't think is going to be a flashpoint for the, like what was being talked. Okay, we talked about it, so we might as well show you what's going on in Niger and in many of the other African countries that have been pressured with foreign aid, had foreign aid taken away because they would not increase their LGBTQ rights, okay, change their constitutions. French troops officially left Niger, withdrawing all personnel and equipment. A document was signed on the completion of the withdrawal of the troops. Thus, for the first time since 1897, French colonial troops left the territory of Niger, which had been a de facto colony of France for 126 years. That's right, single songwriter. The CCP is all over Africa. So, and they're going on with this other currency, and I think we're going to be talking about the yen and out with a BRICS currency that's backed by gold. You never know. African countries supported by Russia, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger in September created a military alliance, the Alliance of Sahel States, and plan to create a single state in the future. The last French soldiers left Niger on December 22nd, handing over a base in the capital, Niamey, to the local military. The French were driven out of Mali and Burkina Faso even earlier. International columnist for Le Figaro newspaper, Renaud Girard, said that France's withdrawal from Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger is a failure in foreign policy. So, well, we know Uganda found $30 trillion in gold. Don't forget that. Let me see. Thank you, Nikki. For like to support channel, I got Nikki put a link for Buy Me Coffee in. If anybody wants to help support the channel, I really appreciate it. They disabled my links, and I just gotta ask people to go to Buy Me a Coffee and type in Mountainman. Let's see. What else is putting pressure on the economic situation? I meant to check on this. See this map from the Mediterranean, man? In the first time, or at least a very, very, very long time, from the Suez to the shores of Hawaii, not a single U.S. military flight is registered on public flight radars. It seems that all flights have turned off their transponders, which is unnatural to say the least. At least several flights should be registered and flying at any given time. Calm before the storm. So, this is something that does, I've said in the past, I quit spending an hour or 2 hours and they're talking about which kind of dirt box planes and spy planes were flying around, how many flights went to Gitmo, blah, for the past 2 years, 3 years. I don't do that anymore. But when an anomaly pops up, this is an anomaly where there's transponders. And I've said in the past, watching that stuff, I've had those apps on my phone, very same app. I could pull up the very same information. If they don't want you to see it, you're not going to see it. But when they turn off their transponders and nothing's going on, like the en masse, then there's a problem. Here we go. How can you tell the truth is being told? When Facebook blocks it, Twitter deletes it, Google hides it, YouTube bans it, your government forbids it, and media brands it as a conspiracy theory. That's how you know when the truth's being told. Anyway, So we got Africa bubbling around. We got Russia, which is our neighbor. When you look at that Alaska situation, that's bubbling. Xi told Biden in their last meeting he wants to take over Taiwan. He would like to do it peacefully. So I got a news alert about North Korea. They've got a nuclear reactor online, all this kind of stuff. But what we also have bubbling is South America. Javier, Argentina to demand woke, inclusive language in the military. Well, that'll help him out. What else has he done? Javier Milei says austerity must begin with his own government. Checking the books, we came across 121 cars and 242 drivers in the General Secretariat of the presidency. We're throwing it all out. Over in the East, they're reporting Argentina is going to start printing money in denominations of 25 and 50,000 pesos for convenience payments. Convenience of payments. I saw a horror movie in Zimbabwe that started out exactly the same way. In other words, that is showing you, that's like us getting bills. Or like I showed where my grandmother carried around a $5 million Reichmark piece. Okay? $5 million. I said my grandmother was a millionaire when the money became worthless. And he's printing this stuff up to show people, look how bad the currency's gotten, and it's going to get worse. But I tell you one thing he did. Argentina's new by taking away their welfare payments. You know, people say, oh, that's not fair. Oh, that's horrible. Oh. Well, here you go. Here they are. This was in Queens, right here. Keep in mind that these freaks about less than a month ago, and for a year, we're out screaming Slava Ukraine and wanting us to send billions of dollars to Ukraine. And now they could care less about Ukraine. Misfits that, like I said, you mix high-level propaganda with mental illness and ignorance, you have got a pretty bad combination. But anyway, where do these are people in Queens trying to get to the airport. Where do these people get this free time? Who is financing these people where they have enough comfort, where they have the resources they need to pay for a place to live and spend their what is normally a person's working hours to be out here doing what they're doing right now? Here's somebody just trying to get to the airport. I like that hat. I'm going to get me a hat like that. But anyway, you'll see a couple people trying to be productive and catch their flight. and police cars in the background. And I can tell you what I remember from Queens. If you would have tried to do that 30 years ago, yeah, there would have been a problem. But like I've said in the past, we've got existing laws that just aren't being enforced. I think the table's being set for, like Trump saying he's going to indemnify the police, okay, to enforce existing laws, because these people that you saw dragging their luggage to an airport, they're being detained, unlawfully detained, a public street being blocked. They're being forcibly trapped in traffic, and they have flights to catch. They have a life to live, and they're trying to be productive citizens. I'm just reading. Hi, DeCat. How you doing? I'm trying to gather what you're saying there, but I see your frustration. Here's a young man standing his ground with these creeps. You stand your ground and do it in a mature and polite way. Here's somebody confronting a worker at, I believe, Delta Airlines, and it's a friend of Dylan Mulvaney, okay? The one with the Bud Light, trying to challenge some guy working a job, okay, and holding a lineup of travelers because he said, I've been misgendered. And you see the young man, when he comes in camera frame, you'll see him look directly at the camera. He knows what's up, and he knows what to do. And how do you handle this non-biblical? I'm trying to address what the cat was saying. You do just like this young man does here.
And what about when an adult employee misgenders you intentionally?
While he's talking, you're talking.
You just misgendered me again.
Okay.
Multiple times.
Gotcha.
Both of you have.
Sorry. Wasn't intentional, but if you want to take it personal, that's also.
Well, she did do it intentionally twice.
You're talking to me too.
You said she and then you said he.
You're being condescending, and if you want to continue, I have full authority to escort you out the building right this moment if you want to play that game with me.
Okay.
Would you like to continue 3 days before Christmas? I really don't mind.
I'm good. I'll just put this on.
You want to be condescending, I'll have Port Authority escort you out of the building. And he's got the authority to do it. And the guy just shut right up. That's how you handle it, DeCat. You be responsible, you be a professional, and you just tell people how things are going to be. So I want to show this video. I talked about this one. There's multiple videos of Trump where he is giving the press opportunities to honestly, in an honest way, actually win and earn and win a valid Pulitzer Prize, okay? And nobody's taking him up on it. But I'll go ahead and play it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This should be one of the biggest stories of the century, but nobody's doing a damn thing about it.
You really think that Clintons are involved in Jeffrey Epstein's death? I have no idea. I know he was on his plane 27 times, and he said he was on the plane 4 times. But when they checked the plane log, Bill Clinton, who was a very good friend of Epstein, he was on the plane about 27 or 28 times. So why did he say 4 times? And then the question you have to ask is, did Bill Clinton go to the island? Because Epstein had an island that was not a good place, as I understand it, and I was never there. So you have to ask, that Bill Clinton goes to the island? That's the question. Thank you very much.
If you find that out, you're going to know a lot. And that brings me to this lady right here, which you guys may have seen this clip already. And it may sound like she's soft pedaling it. But you got to remember, she's in the UK. These are UK presenters, okay? And believe me, she's not putting it out there like hand grenades, but she's putting it out there enough where it's going to stir people up to learn more about what's going on. So let me play this for you.
Associates of Jeffrey Epstein to be released on New Year's Eve, I believe.
Yes, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to enjoy this Christmas. It's coming out right at the beginning of January, and it's anyone who's had anything to do with him. And it'll be a huge revelation. Apparently some of the names are extremely well known and will shock us all. But we know that one of the names is, of course, Prince Andrew, and it's going to ruin his Christmas and maybe the whole royal family's. I mean, he paid out £12 million to saying that he'd never met her and hoped that it would all go away. But we know it hasn't gone away at all. She's been determined to get more people to be accused when they have behaved so badly. So it's very, very difficult. And I think it's quite interesting that Prince Andrew has been trying lately, so I hear, to get back and to do something for the family, because there's also there's sort of people to do it, really. And King Charles has been very firm and said absolutely not. And I think he must be quite relieved about that. I don't suppose now that we would see him. He's been invited for lunch. He was invited last year at Sandringham for Christmas lunch. But I don't think we'll see him go to church with everyone when they're outside and people could start shouting and all those things. I think he will keep very hidden, and quite right too. And it's quite interesting because if you look, that amount of money that he spent, absolutely saying he didn't know her and not saying he was guilty in any way, these things don't work necessarily. They bounce back and back again and again and again. And there's one woman who says that...
What she's pointing out is he gave one of them £12 million. These others are going to be going, what? And they're going to start coming out of the woodwork. She's dropping bombs, but she's doing it in a very British way, very polite way. But I'll let her keep going.
Her name is Joanna Schoberg, and 22 years ago, she sat on his lap. She admits that, and he started groping her breast.
This is Prince Andrew we're talking about?
This is Prince Andrew, yes. So he's in for perhaps another sort of
But just because his name, this is a list of associates, that's what it's being called, doesn't mean they're guilty of anything, does it?
No, it doesn't mean that anybody's guilty, but it means that you can then investigate whether they're guilty. There'll be a lot of people saying, well, perhaps this has happened to them, and there's been, why were they friends? And that will be more investigations. So it'll go on and on and on and on, I think.
Whoa. What was that song we used to listen to? On and on and on and on. On and on. Well, anyway, here's a funny little TikTok I picked up from Utizzle. Who's been kept in the dark? And what gets me is his face. This is a pretty short video. But you'll see what Donald Trump thinks of Barack Obama.
Has Donald Trump called you for advice or talked to you at all? And first of all, you've given him some pretty good advice so far, if you have.
Yeah.
But has he called and talked to you? I would call you. I was right.
No, he hasn't. No.
No, he hadn't called me. I thought it was funny how the interviewer said, Well, you've been giving him some pretty good advice if you have been, how good he's been doing. But remember when I said, what is happening with, like we haven't heard from, say, Jesse Jackson, the likes of Jesse Jackson. Haven't heard a peep out of him. Well, don't you know the next day this video comes out? And I know he's a hot potato. I don't care for him. But this is a voice that, like it or not, and it's from the past, okay? A person that was in the civil rights movement and a lot of people listen to, and like I was saying, when are these people going to step out? And I think it's already beginning.
Way, he is an anomaly. There's never been no president quite like Mr. Trump. There's something that he's doing. Trump is destroying every enemy that was an enemy of our rise. Who's the enemy of our rise? Is it the Department of Justice, where we get none? Is it Congress, where you make a law that favors us and then you turn around and destroy it? Is it the media that has destroyed every black leader that stood up for us? Martin Luther King suffered it. Malcolm suffered it. He's attacking the media, calls it fake news. We have been the victims of some fake news.
Yes.
He's beating up the FBI. Go at it, baby. Yeah. They've been beating the hell out of us ever since J. Edgar Hoover and the counter.
Yeah, so this is going on in big city radio stations. And I think we're going to see some more old school Democrats that are going to come out. I had another report from Javier, but here's one. Boy, not a lot of people notice it, but I noticed this one. In Moscow, sentences of 2 Telegram channels who committed high treason and also publicly justified terrorism received 14 years in prison. I'm wondering if that's not the one I did a video about. I showed him getting arrested by Russian special forces. He was a Telegram administrator that allegedly put out the physical location of an American citizen who has a YouTube channel called Coach Red Pill. And I talked about him in the past. He's in custody again by the secret police for Ukraine. Okay. His name is Lira, his last name, Gonzalo Lira. And he's a U.S. citizen. And last year, I believe it was, the Daily Beast, along with a transgender reporter from Ukraine, worked with allegedly a Telegram administrator who pinpointed his physical location so they could go get him. And I said that they were going to be in big trouble for that. Well, I showed the administrator getting arrested by the SBU and did 3 videos, I believe, at least 3 videos on Gonzo Lira. And now he's been arrested again. And he was brought up by Elon Musk a year after I did broadcasts about it. But anyway, my gosh, it's already an hour and 18 minutes. What I want to do, let me see what we've got here. What do I want to? I want to put a video up that I haven't played. And let me see what this is. Okay, I got one for you all that I think you'll like. And I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me. I think you'll like this little closeout video. It shows how loyal this movement is. MAGA, and it's not all about Mr. Trump. He is our outlet. We are the movement. The American people are the movement, okay? And I'll be broadcasting again soon. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I go live. And I want to thank Miss Mendersue for helping sponsor last night's program through Buy Me a Coffee. And Nikki put a link in a few times for me. And if you get after the broadcast, if you just go to buymeacoffee.com and key in Mountainman, you'll be able to help the channel out. But anyway, enjoy this little closeout video. Keep your spirits up because nothing can stop the date of the election from coming, okay? I'll put it that way. Something's got to give. If they were willing to put out C-19 to get Trump out of office, what are they willing to do to keep him out a second time? We got to be ready for that. Be prepared. Don't get caught with your nerves in a bundle, okay? We know they're no damn good, and we'll be ready for it. So anyway, folks, y'all have a great night. Enjoy this video. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountainman, over and out.
If somebody gave you $1 million to not vote for Donald Trump, would you take it?
No.
$1 million?
No.
I'll go halvesies with you.
No.
Okay.
I need my country back.
If someone came up to you and said, I'm going to give you $1 million for you not to vote for Trump or not to caucus for Trump here in Iowa, but Biden becomes president, would you take the $1 million?
Absolutely not. Can't buy that.
If you were offered $2 million not to vote for Donald Trump, would you take it?
Well, it's secret balloting, right? I can say what I did and they'll have to believe me.
That's true. Good point. What if you were offered $3 million not to support Donald Trump? Would you take it?
No. No.
Would you go halvesies with me? Could I make a sweet deal, a sweeter deal?
No.
I could use $1.5 million.
No. No. The country means more to me than money.
If you were offered $3 million to not vote for Donald Trump, would you take it? $3 million.
No. Our country deserves better.
Would you want him to take the $3 million?
Absolutely not.
Somebody came up with a check and said, I'll give you $3 million not to vote for Trump.
Nope.
I'll stay broke.
Yeah.
They can take their money and shove it.